Welcome to Salcedo Paranormal. It is Friday, February 17th, 2023, and today I am sharing true paranormal stories from the web. As always, you can find all of the episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page, and that is salcidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or stories of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. And I just want to thank everyone again that joined me yesterday, for the latest roundtable show. APOC and Derek and Mike. That was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to doing one of those every month with a different group of people from now on. So I'd say the first two were successful, and looking forward to the rest. Excuse me. So with that, I think I can get right to the stories here. Thank you all for being here to listen, whether you listen live or you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds. I see all the numbers there. And as of just a little while ago, that roundtable show already has 28 views. And it hasn't even been out for a day yet, so I really appreciate that. So, let's see here. Let me get to the file. Of course, I have two stories to share today, and we'll go from there. So this first one says, I live in quite a remote part of England. My family owns a small farm here. As you can imagine, at night, it's completely black outside. But the skies can be amazing for stargazing because we live so far out and high up. Anyway, this was about 5 years ago. I was looking out of my bedroom window. It faces onto the back of our farm. There's an indoor animal pen not far from the house in front, across the yard, and then to the left we have a large field that is bordered by a wooded area on the far side. And there is a glowing figure just standing there at the very side of the field. It wasn't really bright, and I almost missed it. But it was a human figure, and it was just standing there, looking up. Not really at me, though. I was quite freaked out, and when I'm scared, often I'll just freeze. So I was staring at it for a good minute, but then I saw it fade away. It didn't walk away or anything like that. It literally faded. It was definitely not a reflection of any sort on the glass. To this day, it still freaks me out, so I keep my curtains closed whenever it's dark. So, sounds like they saw some kind of apparition there on the edge of their field. Who knows what it was? It seems like they saw something. I wonder, with those kinds of fields, seems like they would be in use for going pretty far back in time. Could be a time anomaly there with someone from the past. Somehow, the two different points in time combining for just a minute, and maybe they were seeing a house that doesn't exist to them. Or maybe it was the actual spirit of someone from a different time. It's hard to say. But yeah, that's a neat story. And you hear so much about sightings of different things in fields, whether it's UFOs or even humanoid cryptids of different kinds, extremely tall apparitions of figures. It just seems like fields, there's a lot of sightings, and I think, of course, part of that may be just the fact that there's nothing else in it or around it to block your view of it, possibly. But I wonder if there's some other factor that is just not as easy to figure out. So, I don't know. But plenty of stories out there about all kinds of strange things seen and sometimes heard out in the fields. So, just wanted to share that because that's definitely a pattern I've noticed in many stories over the years. So, let's see. Yeah, that was a fun show, Derek. I despite the topic being so serious, just the possibilities of what everything in regard to the roundtable show was on missing 411, and some of the more out there ideas associated with that. That was a great show. So, and it was great because I had help. So, but yeah, so that's for that story. That's the first one I have for tonight. And let me get to the second one here. So let's see here. This one says, so yesterday I became convinced I keep shifting dimensions. Hear me out. I was doing housework yesterday and decided I would put on a vinyl record to help keep me motivated. My significant other has a large vintage collection, and I felt like listening to a certain album. Going through the records, I couldn't find it anywhere, but came across another album from the same group, but wasn't feeling it, so I chose a different album from a different group. Here's where things got weird. I mentioned to my significant other that I couldn't find that album, and she told me she has never owned an album from that group. I have a clear memory of seeing it, and I'm 100% convinced I've even played it before. Then I mentioned that she does have one album because I came across it while looking for that one, but just didn't feel like listening to that particular album. She was adamant that she didn't own any. So I went to prove her wrong by going to get the other album that I clearly remember seeing in the collection only hours before. I couldn't find it anywhere in the collection. I even pulled all the albums out one by one, but it just wasn't there. Now I feel like I'm losing my mind. Could something paranormal be happening here, like dimensional shifts, or am I just going crazy? And that's where the story ends. Excuse my cat rubbing against the table, making noises. But that is an odd one. I mean, putting aside other possibilities of someone, I don't know, messing with them. I don't know for sure what else that could be. But it does make you wonder, and I've heard similar stories like that before. With Mandela effects, as people in the comments of that webpage mentioned. But I wonder if that could be a thing. Especially in a case like that, where they know they found one album and then they couldn't find it again. Makes you wonder about the whole parallel alternate universe thing. I know some people don't really buy into that, but then I don't know. There's a lot of questions there with that one. I don't think. I mean, I wouldn't think that they're losing their mind. They seem rational enough with the rest of their story. So I don't know, but I also don't rule out the possibility of these experiences. You hear that all the time. People talk about having memories of different things, things being different in the past, and then going back and looking for it, and it's not the way they remember it. And of course, there's the possibility, and I'm sure it's there, and I don't doubt it, that people are misremembering things, but is that the way it is every single time? I have a hard time with that idea as well. Just given, I don't know, maybe part of it is my own experience with a possible dream of, a couple of dreams really, of parallel alternate realities. Yeah, I don't know. Derek says, what if there's a loop and he goes back in time and later and steals the record from himself? That'd be a pretty messed up thing to do to yourself, that's for sure. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe he doesn't even steal it. Maybe he just goes and uses it later, and somehow it's not there for him in the past. But makes you wonder. That makes me wonder too about how places where items are in the same place all the time. But then, if they're there for so long, I mean, and we know there are time anomalies where people see each other in different time periods, or out of body experiences even. But can that happen with objects? Can people actually? Can there be time anomalies just with objects? The whole airport and reappearing, disappearing objects thing. Could that be an explanation for that? Yeah. Let's see here. Yes, that's true, Rohan. There, like in Star Trek, when they go back and show the plexiglass guy how to make it good, hoping he's the one that invented it. Yeah. Once you start doing some time travel there, you have no idea what you're going to end up changing or inventing, I guess, in that case. So, I don't know with that story, regarding that story. I think there's a lot of possibilities there. I hadn't thought of time until actually Derek mentioned that time loop idea. But yeah, seems like I also don't doubt that there can be alternate parallel realities. Like I said, based on some dream experiences I had where it seemed like I was in some other universe where things were different, but I felt like I was where I was supposed to be, and everything felt normal until I woke up and I realized, wait, that's not how things are here. And so I think that's just based on my experience and other stories I've heard. I think that's also a possibility. So yeah, time slips go both ways, like a door maybe. Could be. So that's all I have for stories for today. Thank you all for being here and listening. And I'll be back tomorrow to cover paranormal news on the next episode of Salcedo Paranormal. Take care, everyone.